You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us this Friday evening. I'm Ken Bufa. Embattled Long Island Congressman George Santos made his second appearance in federal court today. Cecilia Dowd has the details from Central Islip.
Congressman George Santos didn't speak to reporters following his federal court appearance Friday. The conference for the lawmaker, famous for lying about his background, was brief, just about 5 minutes long. We learned that more than 80,000 pages of evidence have been turned over by prosecutors to Santos's attorney. Santos pleaded not guilty to a 13-count indictment in May. He's charged with fraud, theft of public funds, money laundering, and lying to the House of Representatives. Some unhappy constituents showed up, calling on Santos to resign.
Santos out! Now!
George Santos is an imposter. He has never represented the will of the people of New York '03. By equating wholesale lies and the fabrication of an entire identity with resume puffing and any objection to his tenure as a witch hunt, Santos gaslights us and normalizes such lies as part of the game.
Santos's next court date is September 7th. Reporting from Central Islip, Cecilia Dowd for Newsday TV.
President Biden is blasting the Supreme Court's decision to strike down his student loan debt forgiveness plan.
It would have been good for the American economy. Freeing millions of Americans with a crushing burden of student debt. More homes would have been bought, more businesses would have been started, more couples would have had the confidence to start a family. Millions of people would have felt they could get on with their lives.
The 6-3 rulings in the Biden administration overstepped its authority with the $400 billion plan. Newsday spoke to Long Island college students to see how this impacts them.
It only hurts people. It's not really doing anything to help people. I don't believe that these decisions are being made with the people's interest in mind.
Student loan payments will resume in the fall. In a defeat for gay rights today, the nation's highest court ruled that a Christian graphic artist can refuse to work with same-sex couples. The Supreme Court's conservative majority sided with Lori Smith, who claimed a Colorado state law that bars discrimination based on sexual orientation, race, gender, and other characteristics violates her right to free speech. And a Holbrook bouncer has been sentenced to 24 years in prison for beating a man to death. David Cruz was convicted of manslaughter last month. As Newsday has reported, the 32-year-old got into an argument with Jake Scott at Tailgaters last August. Cruz was caught on surveillance video punching the 32-year-old in the head. The Center Reach man died 11 days later. And the NTSB will begin investigating the loss of the Titan sub. Crews began to pull out debris this week, with the U.S. Coast Guard saying human remains were likely recovered from the wreckage. The submersible imploded last week with 5 people on board that were going to explore the Titanic. The U.S. Coast Guard is leading the investigation. And a tearful goodbye today from New York City's top cop, Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell, getting emotional while saying farewell to colleagues. The city's 45th commissioner took part in a promotion ceremony as her last official act for the department. Sewell, who lives in Valley Stream, shattered the glass ceiling 18 months ago when she became the first woman to lead the nation's largest police department. There's no word yet on who will be taking the job. And an air quality alert remains in effect here on Long Island. Smoke from wildfires in Canada is to blame. Because of the poor air quality, mind you, racing at Belmont Park has been canceled. Parts of Nassau County and Western Suffolk County have gone from moderate or unhealthy levels to sensitive groups to unhealthy for everyone. Weather forecasts are predicting improvements by Saturday. All right, let's take a look at your Long Island weather with that note. And you can see tonight we have partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with temps in the high 70s. So taking a closer look at tomorrow, it's going to be a wonderful day with clouds moving on later. And again, those temps hovering just under 80 degrees.
Get more of the stories you've seen on Newsday TV at Newsday.com. Plus breaking news, investigations, things to do, restaurants, and other Long Island news you can't get anywhere else. At Newsday.com, covering Long Island like no one else can. Feed Me is brought to you by PC Richard & Son.
Lobster rolls are a huge summer staple, so here's a guide to some of the best on the island. Scott Vogel has today's Feed Me TV.
place where there were never lobster rolls ever anywhere, and now I live in a place where they're everywhere all the time. I like it here. It just seems to me that if you are lucky enough to live in a place like Long Island and it's summertime and you're hungry and you're on the South Shore, not eating a lobster roll is really kind of not an option. Within the lobster roll community, there are two different major classes. There's the hot and the cold. And this place kind of tips its hand on its favorite by calling this one the traditional. It's the same roll a lot of people call Maine lobster rolls, or New England lobster rolls, or cold lobster rolls, or the one with mayonnaise. It's sort of quick steamed and then cooled really quickly, and that keeps the sort of saltiness to the lobster meat itself. We're at Jordan Lobster Farms here in Island Park, and this seems to be as good a place as any to talk about the Connecticut lobster roll. Proponents of the warm lobster roll will tell you that what makes this superior is, first of all, the fact that it's warm, because warmth brings out the flavor in everything, and that's especially valuable when you're talking about something like lobster meat. But of course, the other thing is that it's got butter, and like mayonnaise, everything's better with butter. So summer is the time for lobster because the crustaceans themselves are more active in the water, easier to trap, and therefore more likely to land up on your plate.
Am I the only one who's probably eating these? Do you I mean, what are you supposed to do with this? There's literally no way. It's like I'm being set up.
As you can see here at Salt and Barrel, you can also have your lobster roll in an atmosphere of refinement and sophistication. But one thing you can't get away from is the messiness of these sandwiches. I think that it is anatomically impossible to eat one of these sandwiches without getting lobster meat on your nose. We're at Varney's in Brookhaven, where they really double down on the simplicity of these sandwiches. Just a little bit of mayo with the New England and just a little bit of butter with the Connecticut. All right, we're gonna try the New England one first.
And now we will try the Connecticut.
Okay, so the verdict is I have the best job in the world. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'll take any lobster roll you got. Now, for more on lobster rolls, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Some Brentwood nuns are giving back to the community by making their grounds available for local farmers. It's a story you'll see only in Newsday.
In 2015, the Sisters of St. Joseph affirmed a land ethics statement, and that statement is really to say, what is our relationship with the land at this point in our history? We established a relationship with the Peconic Land Trust. And they said, you know, you have some of the best soil, agricultural soil here on Long Island. So we preserved 28 acres of farmland working with Suffolk County. And those 28 acres right now are being farmed by 7 different farmers. So it's been quite an extraordinary experience of seeing so many people from the community who might not have the ability to go out east, where people traditionally go for the strawberry picking time of the year, but they can come to a local place that's just right in their neighborhood. It's really creating a space for people to have where they can come together, enjoy nature, enjoy their family, see where the food is actually produced that they're eating. Let young children know about it. This is where your food comes from. It's not just from the shelf in a grocery store.
It's a great way to learn. Now, to read more about the sisters, just go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Watch Newsday TV on the big screen. Use the remote to activate Siri, Alexa, Roku, or the Google Assistant on your streaming device. Say, install Newsday. Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll leave you now with a look at your 7-day forecast.